Welcome back. Alright, let's put this in the ether. In this video, I want to respond to this video that's going around about Hannah Pearl, JustPearlyThings, right? From her, the girl that people are, describe her as the female version of Andrew Tate. Well, she recently put out this video about how women, right, shouldn't have the ability to vote, right? The women's suffrage movement and all that stuff, right? And how society is changed by the way women vote, right? And people are not taking it lightly. They call her, people just don't like her, especially women. They don't like her because she had this contrasting idea of what women's supposed to be. She made a point that women make lousy choices, right? And because women make lousy choices, right? And the reason why society is because they make lots of choices. That's including who they voted for. She made the comment that she probably favored that women shouldn't vote, right? When you look at it, who do women actually vote for, right? They vote for these politicians. These politicians, in actuality, they don't care for anything, right? They don't care how society is. They make these empty promises to women to manipulate them, to make them fall for their campaign, right? And lie to them. Women don't understand that politicians lie. Wherever a politician says something, right, to get their vote, they don't understand women. They don't understand that politicians, the thing that they say, right, are mainly empty promises, right? They don't understand that politicians lie to them, right? Thereby, when they vote for these politicians, they're the one making all these laws, right, to garner their votes. And all these laws are really bad for society, right? All these politicians, most of these politicians out there, right, whether you're, whether if they're Democrat, right, whether they're Republican, Independent, they say this thing to get votes. If they don't do the thing for their constituents, which is primarily women voters, they won't get voted again. So they do all these things to get voted again. They don't care how much it damages society. They only care for votes, right? Most of these politicians, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or whatever, right, they're mainly simps, right? This is why I don't vote no more. I don't vote for these politicians, right? I'm done with voting. I don't vote for judges. Judges are simp as well. These people, the upper echelon, they are simps, regardless no matter if they're a Republican or not, right? I'm a conservative person, right? I'm leading conservative, right? All things, right? Financially, morally, I'm leading that area. But I don't trust nothing from these politicians at all. I don't trust it for the Democrats. I don't trust for the rhinos. I don't trust for the whatever it is, a Republican. I don't trust the Green Party. I don't trust the Libertarian Party because when you look at it, all these people will do all these things to get votes. Right? No matter how much it damaged the men party. These parties, they're totally against men as well. Democrat, Republican, they make all these laws against men. Right? So they do all this stuff to fool women. Women are very impressionable. Women are very easily fooled to get things that they want. They easily, trust, the trusting. They don't understand that people are lying to them. Right? They don't understand how society works. Right? They don't understand that these politicians are capable of lying to them. They don't do that. They just believe them. They just trust them. Right? This is why they allow women to vote. They allow women to make all these, have these special privileges. Right? They just allow this. This is why the world is so effed up right now. All right? So I think she made a fair point. Right? I'm not going to go say, maybe, perhaps. Right? Because when you look at before the suffrage movement, right, women didn't get allowed to vote. They got the white women who were more jealous of the black men because when you look at it, black men have the right to vote before they did, right? The last person who got the right to vote, group of people, was black women, right? Because the suffrage movement did not include black women. Black women, they didn't get the right to vote until the civil rights movement, right? But black men, they got the right to vote before black women, right? So right now you're seeing the how things are catching up with us. Like why they're appeasing or sympathizing to black women? Why are black women in this prominent position now, right? Now they're giving the rights to black women, passing the torch on. You start seeing all these patterns, right? You see all these patterns. So before that, before all of them got the right to vote, it wasn't that crazy right now. Right now it's crazy because we're giving people that shouldn't be voting the power to vote, the power to control the country. Before then, the only people that's allowed to vote are landowners, right? Landowners were the only one who have the right to vote because they have stake in this country, right? They have stake in this country. Now they just allow anybody to vote. I believe that in order to vote, you have to be a aware person. We should not let anybody vote. I don't think so, right? Just because you are American citizen, I believe that just because you are American citizen, you shouldn't have the right to vote unless you went through certain kind of requirement, prerequisite. Understand how the Constitution works. You have to take a test. I think you have to take a test before you know how to vote, right? If you can't take a test and can't understand how government works, then you should be voting at all. We should not have blinded people who don't know anything, people who just turned 18 allowed to vote, people who just come to this country allowed to vote. You have to pass a kind of civil test in order to vote, right? You can't drive a car in order to get a license. So why should you be able to vote just because you're 18 or a U.S. citizen? I think, right? You should be able to pass a test, right? But now they just give anybody to vote. Most of these women, they're voted blindly, not realizing what they are voting for. They just see a name and they vote for it. Some of these people, they just see the name that's appealing. That's why most of these politicians, they put their name so it look generic and it look pleasing to the eye. And that's how most of these politicians get voted. Some of these voters never seen, when they go to the booth, they've never seen the politician in their life. They just observe the name, right? And the name sounds nice, so they voted for the name, not realizing that this person could be misleading you. This person could be dangerous to society. This person could destroy how it is, right? And people don't think about this, right? I somewhat agree with Pearly Things, right? I believe that if you wanted to vote, you had to pass a certain test, right? You pass a certain test and pass a certain requirement for you to be able to vote. Not just because you're 18, right? Because when you're 18, what kind of life experiences do you have, right? What kind of experience do you have in life to make all these dangerous or critical decisions when it affects other people, right? Now you're making voting for stupid legislative that affect a lot of people, right? They're diluting the voting pool, right? And now they're trying to get illegal immigrants to vote as well, which is going to totally dilute it. When they're not even supposed to vote, they have no rights in this country. They haven't contributed to society, right? They haven't do anything for the society. They haven't put in. And you would say sales taxes? That's not enough, man. Right? But I digress on illegal immigrants. That's another issue. When it comes to voting, right, you have to be a conscious person. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to be inclined to politics. You just can't let anybody vote. Right? So most of these people that vote, they voted blindly. They don't know what they're voting for. They just like the politician. They don't do any research to the politician. Most of the people out there that vote, they're not even politically inclined. Right? They don't care. They don't care about the outcome. They don't care about the track records. They don't care about the policy. Right? You should be an informed voter. Most of these people who's talking politics, they're not informed in anything, in any subject. Right? They're not informed. They just listen to the media, whatever the media regurgitates. Right? They think the media tell them the absolute truth, not doing their own research, not looking at the platform the candidate are running on, not looking at their plans. Right? They don't know anything about history. Right? And they these politicians prey upon these people, these ignorant voters. And that's what we have right now. We have ignorant voters right now that voted all these policies, not realizing the danger they've done for this country. Right? And most of these women, I don't want to say in a disparaging way, but most of them are ignorant. Right? Most of them are ignorant. But I don't want to say disparaging because they can start canceling me and all that stuff. I mean, I agree with Pearly Things, but I would say that in order to vote, you have to pass some kind of test to see you're competent enough to know the responsibility of voting. There's got to be a responsibility, right? Just can't let anybody vote, right? So, like, I think the candidate is running right now. There's this Indian candidate, Vermek Versami, whatever his ass. He came out and said there's a requirement that he proposes a plan that there's have to be a requirement for voting, right? And he's a Republican, but the requirement for voting that you have to pass certain kind of tests. You got to be a certain age. You gotta be in civic services for a certain amount of year. You got to be in the military in order to vote, right? But I digress. He's a Republican, and I don't want to get in that rabbit hole. But I agree with that. There got to be some kind of requirements in order, or some kind of volunteer in civic duty in order to have the right to vote, right? But no, most of these women out there, they don't have to sign up for the draft. They don't have to dedicate their time to some kind of civic duty or anything like that, and they automatically get the right to vote. Men have to sign up for the draft. Most men have to sign up for the military, to put their life on the line, right? At least men have to do something in order to get to vote. But women don't have to do anything. They just get that right to vote, right? And the reason why it's like this because the simp out there, right? The simp, like going back to just Pearly thing, what she said. The reason why situation out there, I don't want to blame the women, right? It's mainly the simp fault. The simp is the reason why they're doing this. The simp politician is the reason why this has happened. The simp politicians are doing this just for votes, right? They vote all these simps into politics, and they make all these rules against men, right? And the women don't understand that the politicians are just saying it just to get votes, right? Look at Joe Biden right now. All his promises are collapsing right now, right? And that's what's gonna happen. How's women gonna look at Joe Biden now? He's all failing there. He's not delivering all his thing, right? So what I'm saying that the politicians, right, are the reason why. And who voted for these politicians? Mainly women. Women are mainly voting for these politicians, blindly not realizing who they are voting for. And this is why there have to be some kind of standards when it comes to become a registered voter. You have to be able to think. You have to have some kind of requirements in order to be a registered voter. Because if you don't have any requirements, then these are the kind of stuff that's going to happen. They can vote all these weak politicians, all these simp politicians in these prominent positions, making laws against the American public, right? And that's not good for everybody. That's not good for the women, not good for the men, not good for the Republicans, not good for the Democrats, not good for nobody. When you voted simps in, simps will always be simps, right? This is why I'm always blaming on the simps, right? I'm not gonna blame it on the women. Women's the way they are, right? Women's the way they are. You gotta understand how women are. You gotta understand how women could be weak in certain aspects and strong in certain aspects. You have to understand the strong suit and the weak points, right? So I understand how women are. So I'm gonna be selective what I'm gonna blame on. But mainly the one that we should be blaming on are all these stupid politicians out there that's getting voted into this position who wrote all these bad laws, bad legislative, right? These simp politicians are the reason why we're in there right now. That shouldn't be voted in. So they lie, they mislead their voters, their constituents, who get into this prominent position. And what they create these laws against the people, right? I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, whatever you are, independent, a Reform Party, whatever you are, Green Party. They're all simps to me, these politicians. You are a simp if you get into politics. I don't care what your status are, your background are, right? I don't care. These people are for us. These politicians, they're scumbags. I don't trust politicians. Politicians is just like actors. I don't trust. There are a couple people I don't trust in this world. Politician, right? Actors, right? News anchors. I don't trust these people at all, right? And these are the people that allowing these people like the politician are making this legislative and making it easier people to vote. What's next? They're gonna allow 16-year-old to vote. They're allowed 14-year-old to vote. They're allowed kids to vote. They're allowed illegal immigrants to vote. Right? That's not gonna do us any favor. These young kids, they're still developing. They don't have the cognitive capacity to think what they're voting for. These illegal immigrants, they have low IQ. They don't understand what they're voting for. They don't understand the consequences and repercussion of what they're voting for. And some of these women, right? They don't understand consequences and repercussion. This is why they support these women vote, right? Men out there, I'm not saying all of them, the majority of men out there, they understand the concept of consequences and repercussions, right? They understand accountability. This is why when men vote, they more vote with logic, right, and reasoning. Most women out there, they don't vote with logic and reasoning. They just see a free handout and they just vote for it, right? Especially single women, and that's not being discussed. And as soon as a woman come out and somehow said the truth, people are quick to say. People are quick to destroy her, quick to damage her. I'm not for pearly things. Some stuff I agree with her, some stuff I don't agree with her, right? Because you can't agree with everybody 100%. But I somewhat agree with this thing. There's somehow got to be a standards, right? When it comes to voting, there got to be some kind of requirements, right? Now, okay, we already passed a constitutional amendment, the 19th Amendment, that allowed women to vote. All right, we can't. It's no going back now. It's already been entrenched in our culture already, right? We can't go back on it now. Now what, right? There must be some kind of requirement now. There must be some kind of civic requirements in order for people to vote now, right? Raise the voting age. You could do that. Right, I think a presidential candidate suggested that idea. Raise the voting age from 18 to 21, right? But, back to my point, JustPearlyThings make a good point, right? Hannah, whatever her name is, make a good point. I somewhat agree with her, right? The problem is, the point that she made is that it's all solely responsible, the responsible of her claim is basically the politician. The politician has made it happen. All right? The politician is the one that made all these policy, these terrible choices that affect family law, family court, the judicial system, right? And the politician is the one that appointed all these woke judges, right, into this position that make all these decisions with people that affect a lot of people's life, right? But it is what it is. But Hannah, JustPearlyThings make a good point. I agree with that, right? There has to be some kind of recognitions, right? You have to understand what is the problem. If you don't understand the problem, you can't fix it, right? And she's just stating a problem. She's just pointing out a problem. In order to fix your problem, you got to point it out. You have to know how to recognize the problem in order to fix it. If you don't know how to recognize the problem, how are you supposed to fix things, right? If you don't know what's going bad in your engine, how are you supposed to fix it? You just randomly fixing stuff in your car. Stuff that's not even broken, right? You have to know the problems, get to the root cause of the problem. And she just pointed out the root causes of the problem. And now, when she's pointing out the root causes, we have to fix it, right? We have to fix this problem. But, yeah, I agree with her, right? Sometimes, some people don't need to vote because it's going to affect a lot of people's lives. But, but that's what I'm thinking. But let me know you agree. Like, share, subscribe, And now, guys, peace and blessings.